Welcome to this edition of Taiwan Talk. Achim Hake is something of a rarity in Taiwan. While many expatriates have come and gone, particularly in the food and hospitality industry, Hake arrived in 1992 from Hong Kong, and he stayed. He worked his way up the ranks, beginning as assistant food and beverage manager for what was once the Sherwood Taipei before it closed. It was an exciting time for Taiwan, which was just beginning to open up, and people who traveled were beginning to discover, too, that Taipei had the ability to deliver hot cuisine. Hake's story is very much linked to the development of fine dining in Taiwan, and he shares his story with the event that started it all.
One of the most impressive memories I have in the hospitality at the Sherwood was that with the support of the U.S. government, basically, and also with the support of our previous boss, the owner of the Sherwood, was the introduction of the dry-aged U.S. prime beef. That made history. People think it's a steak, but it was the most unique opportunity to bring a product what people just love to consume and to dine with to Taiwan. And they were supported by, we call him the godfather of dry-aged beef. It was Chef Hans Eschbacher from Chicago. And he came over on several occasions to be our coach and basically to bring us new experiences and share this with the community in Taiwan. So I think the culinary art and the culinary experiences I was given to experience and to participate in at the Sherwood and in Taiwan made it unique because those things will not happen in many other countries and cities.
When you got here, can you describe the culinary scene in Taipei? What was that like for you?
Personally, it was not a shock. It was, again, an adventure, seeing so many culinary performances of the people. And I learned the passionate attitude. And I always found the no matter where you went, it was experience. And of course, there was a very, very small percentage of Western cuisine available in Taiwan, and I recall it was 1994 or 5. I can't exactly say the year now. I was invited as a judge, to participate at the beef noodle, soup contest or competition in Taipei. That's unbelievable. They were so unique, and we had like 100 participants from all over. And then eventually we had the final 10, eventually the final 5, and then the last 3. It was so much fun to participate in something like that. And that showed again the passionate attitude of the Taiwanese chefs. They're so unique.
What was it like for you to bring in the concept of high cuisine into Taiwan, which at that point only had Hardee's and McDonald's and Skylight restaurants and fast foods? Was it a big transition? Did you have to explain to people what high cuisine was, or were people just willing to accept that there was a different way of eating and different way of dining Western food?
It was an educational process for our staff members, equally to our dining guests, to provide what it is should be, because we come from around the world, and fortunately, I think the generation traveled a lot. A lot of people came from the US, from any part in Europe or from other countries, and they experienced different cuisine styles, and they found that in Toscana. They found that and that was a very good concept, I think, not to compromise nearly anything unless you have some dietaries, obviously, on a personal issue. But generally, the menu concept was originality, as it was from the original country to come over. So, it took some educational, but what I think also was good, the power of the media, the power of word by mouth, the explanations and referred business gradually brought the confidence to the guests.
Is there something that happened that within your career as a food and beverage person in Taiwan that stands out to you other than the beef?
1998, it was Ellen Ducasse, the very first time a Michelin guide, the rated chef came to Taiwan. And that time, Chef Ellen Ducasse was owner of 2 3-star Michelin restaurants, one in Monte Carlo and one in Paris. And Ellen Ducasse is a household name. People know him basically, and he came over from property in Monaco, Monte Carlo, and so we hosted at the Sherwood at that time, the very first time Michelin chef, and on top of it, a 3-star rated Michelin chef with 2 3-star restaurants. And of course, that was an iconic event, and that set the stage for many, many return events with the Michelin chefs. And eventually the Michelin Guide was launched in Taiwan a couple of years ago. Basically, it was iconic start to bring international high-rated cuisine, and that took place 6 days.
So what direction do you think Taiwan is going to go from here? It's got its own Michelin book.
I think the Taiwanese are great in the Asian cuisine, in the Chinese cuisine, the Taiwanese cuisine. How you identify now their cuisine styles. And I still believe the countrymen, no matter which country you come from, shall be the leader of the country cuisine you provide. So luckily, a lot of Taiwanese people, they went abroad, they studied, they bring in culinary. We have great chefs here, Taiwanese chefs here in Taiwan, who provide amazing cuisine concepts on the Japanese side, some Western cuisine concepts. I encourage actually the owners of establishments to be more on the supportive side to bring in international players. Because again, a vision is there for many young entrepreneurs. Nonetheless, again, same all around the world, you still need to have input.
The Sherwood may no longer exist, but the hotel industry executive isn't done with Taiwan just yet.
All at the moment I do is to basically pray that we have visitors coming to Taiwan again in the near future. I think that's a goal of many of us, and to continue to do things. So that's it. I'm in a project development at the present stage. We do a hotel project in Hualien. There's a lot of growth, and I think the hospitality hotel market eventually needs to reshift in their concepts, because the margin of the tourist leisure market versus business travelers will change. We had a high percentage. We had, let's say, 65% business travelers versus 35% leisure travelers 10 years ago. The last 5 years, or maybe 2-3 years prior to the pandemics, we had a change already. We had a shift of leisure market towards business travelers, and the leisure market to about 55-60% already. And that will grow, I believe, in the future. The leisure travelers will probably take a good 70-75% of the visitors to Taiwan.
That was Achim Hake, former general manager of what was the Sherwood Hotel. And that was this week's edition of Taiwan Talk. Thanks for listening. Do join us again next time.